you'd be hard pressed to find a rapper in Vancouver that's gonna put together a collection of their writing from a decade and be like, yeah, that's worth that. That's worth doing. Like, I'll let that breathe. Like, I don't know, I can't name anyone else. So I mentioned I've worn many different hats over the years in the music industry, but I've landed right now on prioritizing artist management, different kinds of artist services to help other local, independent, primarily BIPOC artists like get to where they need to go in their career. Both Mikey and KeAloha, I met them as a witness and like as a fan of their music first. Over time, it's turned into friendship. Over more time, it's turned into collaborating. And when I thought of like the kind of energy, the kind of like writing, the kind of like feel of music that I wanted to curate for something like this, immediately, top of mind, I'm like, yeah, it's these two. Just a sliver of the day, enough for me to hold on to till the dark dissolves away. So I'll stay patient, hopeful, stable, and courageous. Also, there's a selfish part of it where it's like, I get to pick two artists and like watch their sets for an hour and a half. Like, definitely these two.
I feel you looking, what you're hungry for, this wisdom. Well, I just wanna know what you gonna do for it. Retrace your ancestors' wake. The path is lit with your faith. The darkness is what you make. Don't waste the space I've given with grace. Embrace this changing in states. Let go, I make my own fate.
So, you know, but that list of like who else I could have picked, a list of like what other next showcases I might curate, that's a long list, man. There's so much talent in Vancouver, it's like absurd. And yeah, hopefully this is the beginning of like another hat of like, yeah, helping shine a light on artists in this way. I'm actually putting them on stages and giving them the resources to feel honored and also bring the band that they want to do so, right? Like, yeah, man, I wouldn't change anything about tonight. They both killed it, and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I had an office job. I was working at Creative BC for a while, and luckily we were able to like sort of pivot into working remotely. So my like day-to-day, month-to-month sustenance wasn't affected too much. But in terms of like playing and like being an artist, being a performer, man, like it was a forced stop, but I also think it was like a timely stop for me because I would enter spaces with people knowing me first as an artist. Like my like persona or like my, even though I perform under the same name as my like actual name, like I would be understood first as being an artist. During the last 2.5 years, when I don't get to be an artist publicly, man, what's my identity then, right? Like that was my existential crisis, was like, who am I without being an artist, connecting with people? So yeah, man, it was like a deep, I mentioned some of that during my set, but like, it was a deep like reckoning of identity, of like meaning, of purpose. But as I started to make my way out of that mental space, a lot of clarity about what kind of work or what kind of efforts, what kind of relationships do I care enough about to not die tonight? You know what I mean? Actually, like that's a very real question that I ask myself every single day. And when I circled back to music, that gave me like a glimmer of hope. And I'm like, okay, so if I exist in and around music, what does it need to look like for me to actually like make a living and all that stuff? eventually I circled back to music in the form of keys, like me playing that song. That was born out of like, let me just like be with music, not as an artist, not as a performer, not as a profession, not as this like thing that I package into a product. Let me just enjoy music as it is.
I'm not posting on walls, I'm not texting to all or checking messages, busy counting seconds and steady forgetting things, stressing about anything that means nothing. So in short, basically everything I'm trying. I'm trying to try. I wanna live my life out, but I'm dying inside because the systems that we live in isn't meant to make a living. It's taking lives, like literally make a killing, but stay meditating. Educated and medicated, self-care Saturdays, eating veggies, stay hydrated. I hate it, I rated my eyes.
Okay, so my book, it's called Moments in Rhyme, Volume 1. That book is a collection of my writing, whether it's songs, poems. I think there's even some journal entries in there. But 2009 to 2019. There's been so many people that have supported me for so long, and sometimes in really like present and public and big ways, and some people that are just like rooting from the sidelines, being like, oh, just keep going. And so that was part of like closure for me, but also just like a gift to those people. And something in me was like, I can't make this next body of work, I can't work on this next decade of creating until I like honor all of that work that was and like tie it up, give it its closure. And part of that closure was like offering it to other people for them to hold too, because man, you've been rocking with me since I was like a teenager. and you liked me back then. Like the fact that you still like me now, that's like a gift, man. So I'm just so lucky, and I had to do that to feel like I could move forward.
I've been home for 2 years straight, and to be frank, I think I'm on that 2-year stank, but your boy's still full of hope. My dope still rank, like my flow could help you cope, like you knew he's dank. If you're feeling isolated, like maybe you ain't gonna make it, take a day, be patient, we're making it day and day by still. We're making moves, making meaning, making music, building with the village, give them feeling that gon' help us heal. And when I spill it, I'm filling up with the spirit still, and when you hear it, I hope there's nothing you're fearing. Listen, I'm missing people, but there's people missing without a home to feel safe and take place in that social distance. Even when we're not our best, even when time's full of stress, there's better days ahead, you know, 'cause that's the way it goes. Thank you for indulging me in that one.